Apologies if this makes me sound a bit like a buzzkill, but Washington, D.C. is really not a great destination if you want an iconic New Year's Eve experience. I'm not saying not to come here or visit around the new year. In fact, the week between Christmas and New Year's is actually one of the cheapest and best times to come to Washington, D.C. because there are no business travelers around and hotels have low rates. So, come, see the city, enjoy the sights, just set your expectations correctly for what to expect on the night of December 31st. If you want to see a big item drop down a pole at midnight, there are lots of cities that do something like that, but not here. If you want to see fireworks at midnight, there are lots of places that shoot them off, but not here. So let's talk about what there is to do on New Year's Eve and my advice for navigating it as a visitor. The first thing you could do is go to a house party if you know someone who lives here and is hosting one. These are usually potluck style or BYOB, and a good way to socialize if you don't want to spend a lot of money. The second thing you could do is go out to a bar. But the important thing to know is that on New Year's Eve, not every bar is a bar that you can just walk into. Some do stay open as regular bars, but many close down and host ticketed parties, which means if you want to go, you need to buy a ticket in advance, which usually includes some drinks, maybe an open bar, and some snacks, and then a champagne toast at midnight. Prices to these vary considerably, depending on the type of party that they're hosting, whether it's a cash bar or open bar, but generally speaking, prices are high enough that they're still gonna turn a profit. These can also get fairly crowded, so even though an open bar sounds great in theory, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get drinks in any kind of timely manner. Going to a bar is a relatively informal thing to do for New Year's. Some people will dress up, but others will go in casual clothes. The third thing you could do is go to a fancy hotel or ballroom party. These are usually held at the big downtown hotels, or places that you might think of when you think wedding venue. This is going to be the most expensive going out option, with tickets probably in the hundreds of dollars. And it's going to be the most formal, with the expectation that if you buy a ticket, you're going to dress up. A few other ideas for going out on New Year's is to go to a concert venue. Many of these venues have all-night concerts that go past midnight, so potentially a good option for music lovers. Or check out a New Year's Eve river cruise if you want something a little different. Ultimately, you need to decide whether you want a lower key, less expensive night out, or a fancier, more expensive night out. Whichever you choose, make plans and get tickets in advance. I also want to note that everything I've talked about so far is an adult thing to do. DC is really not that kid-friendly on New Year's. There are some daytime activities that kids can go to, and Alexandria, Virginia has some family-friendly New Year's events. But in the city, after dark, it's mostly for the adults. By the way, hello! I haven't even introduced myself yet. If you're new around here, my name is Rob. I'm a tour guide and the founder of Trip Hacks DC Tours. On this channel, I share my best tips, tricks, and hacks for visitors who want to explore Washington, DC. And I'm curious to know, how do you usually spend New Year's Eve? And what's your favorite New Year's memory? Leave a comment down there and let me know. Now, let's talk about logistics and some important things to know when you're planning your night out. First is that there is no single best thing to do or place to go. In my opinion, the best place to go out on New Year's Eve is in your neighborhood, or if you're visiting, somewhere close to your hotel. The best form of transportation is walking, and the closer that you can go out, close to where you're staying, the better. New Year's Eve is not an evening to try to do a pub crawl or go bar hopping. If you want to check out a bunch of different nightlife venues here, I suggest going out the night before, December 30th, or what I call New Year's Eve Eve. That's usually a pretty chill night because everybody is saving up their energy and money for the 31st. If you wind up going somewhere outside of your neighborhood, the best way to get there and back is on Metro. Metro usually runs extended hours for New Year's Eve, so make sure to double check WMATA.com before you head out to know what the closing time is. Uber, Lyft, and cabs are all theoretically an option. But remember that between midnight and midnight 30, demand for these rides is off the charts. So you need to expect high prices and long waits. or plan to hang out where you are for a little while and catch a ride later. Now, I get messages every single December from people who want to know where they can go to watch the fireworks. And my answer always is, we don't have fireworks in DC. But people sometimes swear they've seen fireworks in DC before. I think some people are confusing New Year's with Independence Day, and we definitely have fireworks on Independence Day. Some people might be thinking of New Year's fireworks that happen in nearby Alexandria, Virginia, which is not terribly far away from DC, but far enough away that you're probably not going to watch them from DC. And sometimes I wonder if people are remembering all the way back to the Y2K year, when there was a huge millennium celebration on the National Mall. The president attended, and yes, there were fireworks. But that was over 20 years ago, and it's been a long time since we've had anything other than amateur fireworks on New Year's. And by the time the New Year's celebrations are over, it's January. And I've got a video about what DC is like every month of the year. So go ahead and click or tap right over here to check it out. Enjoy your trip.